right, everybody, welcome in to another episode of the NFL Seekers podcast. Today, we're coming at you with the fantasy football mock draft. Mock draft Monday, it'll be a 12-team PPR standard draft. Won't be a dynasty or super flex draft. We'll definitely get a lot more mock drafts out to you guys throughout the offseason, but we're excited to just do this, standard redraft, home mock draft, and I'm really excited to do our first mock draft of the season. How are you, Josh? It's finally time.
I'm doing great. It's great to start off the week with a mock draft Monday, kind of like our, previous, mock drafts for the NFL draft Monday. But yeah, this is going to be a fun segment going forward, try and get out different drafts to you. But yeah, 12 team standard PPR, our, most popular best league double flex. So I'm really excited to see how you draft. I'm really excited to get into this. This is one of my favorite exercises to do. And we're freaks, we're nutty. We do this probably 6,000 times before we actually draft our real team. So, it's always fun to be prepared for this. But what a great time to start doing mock drafts. And I can't wait for the season, man.
Absolutely. Can't wait. We'll get at least one mock draft out a month and just kind of update our approaches to the drafts, our strategies. And I'm really excited. Let's just get right into it. I'm going to pick at 4. Stores are going to pick at 8. We're going to draft against each other. Comment after the episode whose team you liked better, who had the better draft. Really excited for it. Let's just start this thing up and see who the first 3 picks are until I'm up. McCaffrey goes 1. Tyreek Hill's the first receiver off the board, followed by CeeDee Lamb. Kind of chalky, what you can kind of expect in most redraft leagues. So here at 4, I've got Justin Jefferson staring me down the throat. I got Jamar Chase. Bijan is definitely, interesting. I guess this is kind of a good spot to talk about strategies. Personally, I don't mind a hero RB strategy. I don't know if I would take Bijan in the top 5, though. So I think I like going receiver and kind of just fading running backs. It seems like wide receivers are valued so much higher than running backs. So I think I'll be fading running backs for the most part, unless I can get a top tier guy at the top. And then I'll just kind of have a hero RB build and kind of wait for the rest of my running backs. But in this case, who do I have higher, Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase on my board? It's going to be a little bit bold, but I actually will take Jamar Chase. I have him just a little bit higher than Jefferson on my board. Joe Burrow coming back, it's kind of huge with Kirk Cousins leaving. I think that's kind of the difference. And I think Chase and Burrow is just a beautiful, beautiful sight. I think he'll pay this value as the 4th overall pick. And I think he could finish as he could be a top 3 pick next year. He could just have one of those huge, huge seasons. So I love Jamar Chase.
That was the right pick. And yeah, Jamar Chase is going to be absolutely electric with Joe Burrow returning this year healthy. And yeah, the start of this draft was just pretty chalky. This is probably how it's going to look in most of your PPR 12-team mocks. But right after you, Dan, goes Jefferson, Amon-Ra, and A.J. Brown. I was hoping somehow Amon-Ra would fall to me. He is not there. But I mean, he's going to be an absolute dog this year. Just got to shout out Amon-Ra. I mean, they added nothing to help the wide receiver core in Detroit, and Amon-Ra is just going to absolutely feast there. So, I wouldn't even be surprised if he ended up going top 4 in a lot of drafts, just because they're going to throw the ball a lot. Ben Johnson returns. It's just pretty much, set in stone. It's just chalk there in Detroit, and everyone knows Amon-Ra is getting the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had like a CD type season this year of like 1,700 yards and 10 touchdowns. I'm pretty sure he had 1,410, but he's just awesome. Sorry. I wish he would have fallen to me, but I got, this is kind of interesting too, because it's like the value at running back here at pick 8 is pretty good. Bijan falls, Breece Hall falls, and I wouldn't even be mad to consider Jahmyr Gibbs here. But man, you see the wide receivers going off the board fast, man. You see the wide receivers going off the board fast, and Puka Nacua, what he was able to do last year, it just might be tempting enough to take him over the running backs. I think the running backs are falling. I think I can circle back with a running back, but Puka Nacua setting every single record, just absolutely incredible in fantasy last year. Let me pull up his stats real quick. Excuse me. But Yeah, Puka Nacua in his rookie year. There you go, Danny pulled up. 105 receptions on 160 targets for 1,486 yards and 6 touchdowns. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I really don't see his production dropping off. I feel like Cooper Cup is on the twilight years of his career, and I'm gonna go ahead and select Puka Nacua here.
I love it. Can't really argue with that at all. He was absolutely electric. This is a round where he'll go, and yeah, I think he'll pick up where he left off last year and just have all the production again. With your next pick, it looks like Bijan, Brees Hall, Jameer Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron all go off the board right after you. So running backs fly off the board after that pick. Devontae Adams goes. Who are you looking at here?
Again, another guy who I really wanted. I knew he was probably going to go towards that back end of the first. Marvin Harrison Jr., guy with tremendous upside. Somebody who could just win your fantasy leagues, really at his ADP. But yeah, it's kind of the run on running backs there. But I'm looking Saquon Barkley, Drake London with Kirk Cousins is very tempting. Chris Olave. Ooh, you know, I think I am gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Saquon. I mean, if I can predict, any player to succeed in that Philadelphia Eagles running back room, it would be Saquon Barkley. He's just too talented of an athlete. DeAndre Swift absolutely tore it up last year. And I'm gonna bank on the offside or the upside with Saquon Barkley behind that Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. I think he's due for a breakout season.
Yeah, absolutely can't argue with that one. Do you want to lock that in?
Yes, sorry, my phone's being slow. There we go. Got it.
No, good pick. Saquon will have all the production behind that Eagles offensive line. It's honestly a little bit overpowered if you think about it, but like that pick, Sam Laporta, Devon A-Chan, and Drake London go right after. So I'm back on the board here with my second round pick. I could get Josh Allen off the board a little bit early for me. I like him more closer to the turn. Let's look here.
Oh, Sam Laporta would have been such a nice pick.
Sam Laporta would be a beautiful pick. I like him at the end of the second round, early round three. There are some good tight ends though. Hopefully, actually, I'm not going to say anyone's name because I don't want you finessing me. Let's see. I think I'm gonna double dip at receiver. And you know what? I'm it's gonna be a boring pick, but I'm just gonna go Olave. I'm not too optimistic with Derek Carr and the upside with Derek Carr, but I do think Olave will be solid pairing him with Jamar Chase. I like the idea, like the overall production. He had a pretty solid season last year with Derek Carr, and yeah, that's not too exciting for me, but I'll definitely take it. And I'm happy because a running back I really, really like did fall to me that I was targeting, and that is Travis Etienne. I think he has a really good year. I think the Jaguars have a pretty underrated year on the offensive end, and I think Etienne has another great fantasy season, averaging around that 15, 16 points per game. I love it. And
No,
then
that's a
Derrick
really good
Henry,
pick.
Travis Kelsey, and Mike Evans go right after.
Ooh, Travis Kelsey would have been very tempting there just because he is such a lock and a value, honestly, in the third round. And bearing whatever Rasheed Rice's situation ends up being. But let's see, number one player on the board here for these guys. They got DJ Moore, Malik Neighbors, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle. Oh man, is Nico Collins went right? Oh yeah, he went a while ago. Um, gosh, Malik Neighbors would be pretty tempting. I just don't know if his chemistry. I'm a little scared off here in the third round. I don't know. I mean, he's an electric playmaker. He's going to be the number one receiver in New York. That is just very tempting. Jalen Waddle, money bags. He's got a big contract. I could get the top quarterback here. Um, no running backs I really like at this value, honestly, right now. I think I'll hold off on that. You know what? Man, I'm between DJ Moore, but I like Malik Neighbors' ceiling. I think Malik Neighbors has the higher ceiling. I'm kind of between him and DJ Moore, but with Malik Neighbors just being the clear-cut wide receiver one in there in New York and probably going to demand targets with his attitude, I think I'm gonna have to lock in Malik Neighbors here.
Yeah, I love it. A Puka and Neighbors receiving room is pretty fun for you with Saquon. I really like that build. Jalen Waddle goes, DJ Moore goes, Pacheco goes, Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson go. Two of the top quarterbacks available. Michael Pittman goes the pick before you. What are you going to do here?
CJ Stroud is the top player on the board. That let's just go the no. Let's just go. Let's just go CJ Stroud, man. He is just what he did last year was some phenomenal stuff. You add Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon and just keep adding electric weapons to that offense. He is just set up for success. He's set up for an MVP season. And here in the here in with my fourth pick of you, I feel very comfortable with Stroud right there.
Yeah, definitely can't argue with that. You got your quarterback figured out, situated, don't have to worry about it. Zay Flowers, Devonta Smith, and Rashad White go the next three picks. So I'm back up here on the board. I'm definitely eyeing, now I can say it now that you already took your quarterback. I'm definitely eyeing that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase stack. You never want to reach for a stack, so I'm not going to take him here. Definitely am considering Trey McBride. I love Trey McBride. Looking at the running backs, my top running back available would be James Cook. Don't love the value here just because I do like a few of the running backs on the board. So you know what? Ooh, I could finesse that Tank Dell, CJ Stroud.
Ah,
Course.
I was gonna be quiet about that. There's no way he's falling to me, but that'd be a fun pipe dream.
A lot of good receivers on the board as well. You know what? I'm going to call my shot here, and I am going to take the third tight end off the board, and it will be Dalton Kincaid. I
Woo!
think Dalton Kincaid has a shot to finish as the tight end one this season. I think it'll be good value. You're drafting him ahead of Mark Andrews and Trey McBride, so it hurts, but I am going to call my shot. And I just have a feeling he could finish as the tight end one, man, and as the wide receiver one for the Bills. Any
I love
thoughts on
it.
that?
I absolutely love it. I had Dalton Kincaid last year. There's some frustrating games, but there are some boom games. And, I don't think, you lose Stephon Diggs, you lose Gabe Davis, you bring on, Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel. But, Dalton Kincaid is just such a good route runner. He's going to be Josh Allen's safety net. He's such a big target in the red zone. And yeah, I mean, that wide receiver one role is wide open, in Buffalo right now. So, they got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Why not? Why not, call your shot on his best weapon?
Absolutely. With my next pick, James Cook, Joe Mixon, and T. Higgins go the three picks before me. So I'm back here, and I am thinking receiver. I'm deciding between Tank Dell and George Pickens. This is really tough, and this is for my wide receiver three spot. This will be for my first flex spot, and this is tough. I'm definitely tilting between the two. I will actually call my shot with George Pickens, though. I think he is being drafted pretty high right now. He's the only receiver in the whole receiver room for the Steelers. So I will go with that George Pickens pick with the upside as my wide receiver three. Tank Dell, Christian Kirk, Keenan Allen, three receivers go before Stores the next pick.
There goes Tank Dell. The dream was so close, but it doesn't work out. Um, Keenan Allen was also a very good pick. He was a PPR machine. He's gonna get a lot of receptions. He's gonna be just that that short yardage, just safe guy for Caleb Williams to throw to. But what? I think I'm gonna look running back here. And there's some guys I definitely feel comfortable taking in this range. There's Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, but I think I am going to go with oh gosh, it's really just a flip up here between Kenneth Walker and Alvin Kamara. The PPR side of things, Alvin Kamara is just a reception fiend. Obviously, Kenneth Walker is the much more productive, better running back. Um, they have a
Your
new
running back rankings should tell you who to pick here by a pretty good margin.
I know it's gonna be Alvin Kamara. It's gonna be Alvin Kamara. Um, I do like both of these running backs a lot, but in a PPR sense, Alvin Kamara any given week can have 10 plus targets, and so you're just you're banking on that. Derek Carr is check down Carr, so I feel comfortable with that Saquon Kamara 1-2 punch.
Yeah, he was projected 206 points. He was the pick. I was really close to picking him over Pickens. I just went with the receiver upside, but Kyle Pitts goes off the board after a few running backs: Montgomery, James Conner, Kenneth Walker, Scary Terry, Rashi Rice, Odunze, Amari Cooper. All go. Who are you going to go with your next pick?
I'm just gonna shout this out. If you sit and wait right here, if you get a little impatient like I do sometimes with quarterbacks, but you can just really wait because there is a lot of good quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, who finished as quarterback, I believe, two last year. Kyler Murray, Jordan Love, Caleb Williams. There's just a ton of good quarterback value if you just wait. whether you want to go that method or not. But I think I am gonna look. I think I am gonna look wide receiver here, and I'm gonna go Jordan Addison, man. I mean, he had such an incredible rookie wide receiver season. I think he's gonna be even more comfortable in year two. Obviously, there's a new quarterback in that offense, but he's a stud. He's a route running just absolute ace. He gets open all over the field, kind of like his predecessor, or sorry, like his guru Justin Jefferson. But I feel very comfortable taking Jordan Addison right here.
Love it. Electric pick. Anthony Richardson, Chris Godwin, and Jaden Reed follow. I definitely was looking at Jaden Reed, so that is unfortunate. But my stack is still alive with Anthony Richardson off the board. I do have Burrow as the highest quarterback available. Don't really think this is a reach, so I will secure my stack right here with the Joe Burrow pick and stack him with Jamar Chase, help the upside of my teams. I'm a big believer in stacks. I almost like have to have stacks with my teams. And my dynasty team, I have 3 different stacks. So I'm just a big believer in stacks, and I will be targeting it in my drafts. It's something I really look for in drafts. Xavier Worthy, Calvin Ridley, George Kill go the next few picks. So I'm back up here looking at running back. And you know what? This is a pretty easy pick. I have Ramondre by himself at the top of these players in his own tier, really. I think there's a big drop off after Ramondre. So I will kind of fill out my starting lineup, and I'll lock in that Ramondre pick. And I think he has a pretty good season, even better than last year. I think he's underrated as a receiver. I'm not really too worried about Antonio Gibson. And I think Stevenson has a nice little season.
Yeah, and then Zamir White, who's an intriguing running back this year, should have the starting role pretty clear there. In Las Vegas goes Tony Pollard, who's in the running back committee with Tajay Spears, and Raheem Mostert, the 20-plus touchdown guy, going all the way here. And what round are we? The
7th.
yeah. Just shows you how scared off a lot of people, even including probably me and you, are of Ramondre, just with that crazy running back room. But Dan, this is gonna be a no-brainer for me here. I'm gonna lock in the kid. I'm gonna lock in the kid from Georgia, Mr. Lad McConkey. Should be pretty, should take maybe 1 or 2 weeks to really establish himself as Justin Herbert's wide receiver one target. Just an ultra fun prospect from Georgia. Great route running, smooth hands, very quick guy. And there's just a lot of targets, going to be, open with the loss of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. I think Lad McConkey will benefit the most from that.
I'm definitely going to be targeting a lot of McConkey in my drafts. Unfortunately, you're going to be drafting in most of my leagues, so I might not end up with him, but I do love the prospect. I do love the prospect of him on the Chargers in general in fantasy. It's almost like inexplainable. It goes without saying. He is going to be a fantasy beast. When he was drafted, everyone knew he was going to be insanely productive in that offense, in that role. He really will be there. Cooper Cup in that offense. Like maybe he's not Cooper Cup, but he's going to be used as Cooper Cup. So it'll be fun in fantasy. Dak goes after Brock Bowers, Evan Ingram go, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Hopkins and Najee go. Where are you going to go with your next pick?
Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna go tight end here. There's just two guys that are staring me right in the face with Jake Ferguson and TJ Hawkinson. I like David Njoku, but I kind of like the chemistry, and I like the target share that Jake Ferguson is going to be able to get, because the Cowboys did not bring in anyone this offseason to really take any targets. It's CD, and Jake Ferguson. And, I think teams are going to figure out how to stop CD a little bit more this year. And I think Jake Ferguson is going to benefit from that. So I'm going to be really high on Jake Ferguson this year, even though this is right around where he should go. But I'm going to be targeting him in a lot of my leagues.
Yeah, he feels undervalued as well. He feels like a 10-point lock every single week, super high floor. And for a tight end, that's hard to come around, hard to come by. So, especially if you're a Dak owner, I think Jake Ferguson will be an absolute steal this year. Nick Chubb, J Love, and Purdy go with the next few picks. I am back up here, kind of just looking at best player available who's going to boost my upside here. This is pretty tough. I think I'm going to look at receiver again.
And I'm just gonna throw this out here, right around where we are right now is kind of the sweet spot of taking high upside players, taking those rookie players, taking the guys that, are only being undervalued just because of maybe a new situation or they are a rookie, And so, to win fantasy leagues, it is valuable to take the highest upside player, say a Jonathan Brooks maybe over, like an Austin Eckler, for example. Maybe you can see Austin Eckler's fantasy output a little bit more clearly, but you're banking on a young, more explosive running back in Jonathan Brooks. So I wanted to throw that out there for you guys.
Absolutely. This is where fantasy drafts are won. You swing for the upside, as you see here. My starting roster is pretty much complete. So now I will be going for that upside. And with my next pick, speaking of upside, I'll go Keon Coleman in the case that he does end up as Josh Allen's wide receiver one. That's a pretty hard argument. It's pretty easy to argue that he will be a steal here. A lot of times, rookie receivers around this range end up being steals. I always target rookie receivers in this range, like you did with Lad McConkey in the last round. Someone took Brian Thomas right after. I think they're all just going to be great picks this year. So I really love Keon Coleman situation. First of all, I didn't mind him as a prospect at all. I think Josh Allen will love him. So I do have that Keon Coleman and Kincaid Bills correlation in here. I'm hoping that the Bills are the number one offense in the NFL. Zach Moss, Jalen Moore, and Hollywood, Christian Watson go with the next few picks. And here I will be looking at running back, and I am very happy because someone I was deciding between with Keon Coleman, another upside shot rookie, Jonathan Brooks. I really like Jonathan Brooks. I have all full confidence that he will take over the backfield whenever he's fully healthy. No rush, but I'm not worried about Chuba. So whenever he's fully healthy, I think Jonathan Brooks can be a great option here, and he can definitely pay off this ninth round capital when I can just sit him on the bench until he is that starter, and he could be a 12 point per game guy.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head right there. And, Dalton Schultz, David Njoku, Deontay Johnson, three guys I really wasn't interested to go in right after you. But this is kind of an interesting area. I'm going to be targeting a rookie again. I've got Trey Benson on the board and I've got Adonai Mitchell on the board. So this is tough, man. It's really tough for me. Because I mean I can maybe see that Adonai Mitchell maybe has the more clear starting path, even with Trey Benson. He's going to be fighting for reps at the beginning with an aging James Conner. Oh, it's tough, but then I can see Trey Benson just being the far superior, better running back. Obviously, if this was a dynasty draft, I would be taking Trey Benson right here. But it's not, so I think I'm gonna go with Adonai Mitchell here. Just maybe a little bit more clear starting path, maybe a little bit more upside in year one for Adonai Mitchell, and Trey Benson does not fall back to me. Dang it.
Tua goes. I know you were looking at Tua.
Well, you know who I'm going to go right here, and it's just quite honestly disrespectful. I will keep him on my bench gladly, and somebody who waits on quarterback and needs a starting quarterback come a few weeks into the season. I'm going to draft one of my favorite players in all of fantasy, in all of real football, Mr. Justin Herbert. A lot of people won't see the vision with Jim Harbaugh. I see the vision. I think he might be a lot more productive. I think he might throw a lot of touchdowns in this offense. But people are a little bit scared off just because there is no elite weapon. And I will gladly take the drop of Herbert just for the upside of what he could be.
All right, Stores is going with that bully QB technique. He's gonna strangle someone that needs a quarterback, and he's gonna make him pay up for that Herbert or maybe Stroud. But
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's
good
not a
strategy.
bad strategy in your fantasy leagues. You're going to have one dude or two dudes that wait and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to get this guy in the, 10th, 11th, 12th round." And then you just absolutely fleece them and then 3 weeks into the season they're panicking. They are picking up quarterbacks off the bench every single week and the offers start flying in after that.
Absolutely, just beautiful stuff. Stores is thinking two steps ahead, and yeah, it is a good strategy. It's really a good strategy for all positions. If someone falls too far, then call your shot on them. I'm kind of tilting here with this next pick. Everyone's kind of tiered up in the same tier with me available here. I'm thinking about double dipping at quarterback as well. Blake Corum could be a nice upside shot in the case that Kyron has the chronic leg issues. His injuries are a little bit scary. Hmm.
I mean, just to throw it out, Blake Corum's the number one running back on the board. I mean, that's an upside pick too.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Quorum right now. No one's really shouting out to me at all. So I will go with another rookie pick, three in a row, and I will go with Blake Corum, another upside shot. I think there's a world where, Kyron doesn't stay healthy for the full season. And I think that Blake Corum is literally Kyron Williams. We said this before. He was drafted to the Rams, and we said it would actually be a good pick if the Rams drafted him and didn't have to pay Kyron a contract. So I think it's, a good dart throw, and Chase Brown, Cole Kmet, Jared Goff, who was actually eyeing go right before me with my next pick. I still just looking at best available. Two bench spots left. We left kicker and defense off this draft. Don't really want to mess around with those two positions this early in the process.
Well, I'm gonna say one thing too about Blake Corum is he's a little bit older of a rookie running back. He comes from a pro style offense. He scored 27 touchdowns last year, so he's just too good and too, it's just kind of hard to wait on him. He's already got kind of quite a bit of miles on him, and so I don't feel like the Rams would have drafted a running back in the third round if they weren't planning on playing him a lot. Because that's the kind of team the Rams are. They draft players to play. And I think Blake Corum definitely will play. And then I'll just shout out one other player that went off the board right there, Curtis Samuel, who's an intriguing option with Josh Allen. I feel like he can, he kind of is like a very poor man's Debo Samuel. He kind of, takes those end arounds. He can take handoffs. He can kind of line up all throughout the field. But he could be definitely intriguing in Buffalo. I wanted to shout that out.
Absolutely. And I am targeting this Buffalo offense. So we definitely would have been in consideration here. Definitely tilting a little bit. There's a lot of guys here that are just completely in the same tier for me. No one is sticking out at all. Jeez, this is gross.
I got my eye on one dude, but I'm not gonna say it.
Because I really want a backup tight end, but like, look at these backup tight ends. There's literally, I would just rather pick someone up on the waiver after the draft. This is really,
It's Yeah, the tight ends are pretty gross once you get to the 10th, 11th round.
yeah, that tight end depth after Hawkinson is abysmal. So don't wait too long for your tight end. This is rough right here. This is a rough combo we're having. The kid is tilting, and I'm just gonna take Tyler Lockett. I'll just take the floor, the veteran. I just took three rookie receivers. I'll take a nice little floor to plug into my flex and early season. I'm not really too high on Lockett, but there was no one there I wanted, man.
You know what? What is Tyler Lockett's like last? Did he go over 1,000? I swear he goes for 1,000 yards every season, and he's always picked here. So don't hate on Tyler Lockett, but pull up the stats if you can on the computer here, Dan.
I don't think I.
Or just-
Oh, there we go. Let's see.
Dude's like the level of consistency, and he's like 100 years old at this point. What do we have overall stats this year or last year?
That's pretty solid. In 2023, he finishes the top 32 receiver. 22, he finishes the top 13 receiver. 21, top 15 receiver. 20, top 8 receiver. 19, a top 13 receiver. 18, a top 17 receiver. He's been reliable for a while. That is very interesting,
He
actually.
had like five straight, yeah, from 2000. I mean, 2018, he had 965, just count as 1,000. So one, two, three, four, five. Five pretty much straight 1,000 yards and then 850. The kid's reliable, man. He's old reliable. He's like that SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob loses his old reliable jellyfishing net, and that's what Tyler Lockett is. So you know what? I'm a little jealous of the pick. Tyler Lockett is, he is that dude. And he's always in this 11th, 12th round, and he just as a backup, as a backup flex, as a flex play, he's always just kind of solid. I don't care, if they have Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK Metcalf, he's just always kind of solid. But enough of the Tyler Lockett rant. I will go on with my pick. But Charbonnet goes off the board, Jacoby Myers, Trevor Lawrence, and this was the guy I was eyeing, hoping you weren't. But another guy I'm going to take a flyer on, Xavier Legette. Absolutely love the dude. The dude's interviews are hilarious. I think he really does stand out to be the Panthers wide receiver one. Obviously, he is competing with Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson, but it really looks like they love this kid and they want to feature him. He goes to an offense with Remind me the new offensive coordinator from Tampa Bay's name.
Dave Canales.
Yes, Dave Canales, who honestly had Baker feeding a lot of good people, just it went off last year. So I expect a big jump from Bryce Young. I've said that a lot. And I think his receivers are going to see a big boost, and he's got a hell of an offensive line, so he's going to have time to throw the ball. And Leggett is, you know, maybe got these. I mean, best case scenario, he could turn into a Debo Samuel. I hate comparing people to Debo Samuel, but he is kind of built and he is like that. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, definitely
Uh,
love the pick. I was definitely deciding between him and Tyler Lockett, if I'm being honest.
oh yeah. Let's see. Obviously, Mike Williams goes, Ezekiel Elliott, Troy Franklin, who's an interesting prospect to get paired up with Bo Nix, Jerome Ford, Chuba Hubbard, Pat Fryermuth, Josh Downs, Ty Chandler. And this is a guy who I'm going to be eyeing a lot here in the back for my bench, obviously. And this is oh wow, this is our last pick right here. But I'm gonna go J.K. Dobbins on a 1 year prove it deal with the Chargers. I think he is the most talented running back in that room. I think he does overcome Gus Edwards. And it's kind of, the guys on the 1 year prove it deal seem to play better on those deals because he wants a big contract. So I'm gonna bank on that contract year for J.K. Dobbins.
Love you calling your shot on that. Luke Musgrave, Kirk Cousins, and Jalen Wright go right after. I was definitely looking at Kirk Cousins. Could go Matthew Stafford here. In a real draft, I'd probably wait a round or two. So here I will go with Jerry Judy. I don't like any of the tight ends available either. So I'll just go Jerry Judy. Hope that maybe him and Deshaun Watson have a little bit of chemistry. He will be the wide receiver too in an offense. So, hopefully it pays off. It's a last pick here, a 12th round pick. So not really too stressed about it. But let's go into our teams here. Let's grade each other's teams. I'll let you kind of grade your own team and see how you felt about your team first. If you want to read that off.
Yeah, I'll read it aloud for everyone to hear so the audio audience can visually hear it. So my quarterback one was CJ Stroud, who I took in the fourth round. My running back one, Saquon Barkley, who was my second overall pick. Running back two was Alvin Kamara, who was my fifth round pick. My wide receiver one, who was my first overall pick at the 1.8, was Puka Nakua. And then I followed that up with a rookie receiver with a lot of upside who should be the clear-cut wide receiver one in New York with Malik Neighbors at the 3.8. Jake Ferguson as my tight end one at the 8.5. Jordan Addison as my number one flex, picking him in the sixth round, and then following that up with another rookie wide receiver and Lad McConkey, who should be Justin Herbert's, number one target guy. And then taking another shot on Adonai Mitchell on my bench, Justin Herbert, also another bench player for quarterback. This is thinking two steps ahead, thinking about trade bait between one of my quarterbacks, and then finishing it off with my last two picks with Xavier Leggett and J.K. Dobbins. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna grade myself decently high. Are we giving numbers? Are we giving letters? What kind of grades are we doing this year, Dan?
Let's think here. Let's do letters. I was kind of thinking about mine. I'd give it a. I feel like I don't think there's really anything I would change or disagree with at all too much. So yeah, I would give it a B plus.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna give myself an A for my first mock draft, but this is a pretty damn sexy team right here. I really love the upside, and I like the mix of mostly young players, but also having those veteran players and Alvin Kamara, Saquon, just your floor guys. So I'm gonna give myself an A minus. I'm gonna give myself an A minus. I like this team a lot. I mean, the one thing I probably would have done different if I was to critique and change where I don't give myself the A plus is I think I got a little too happy with CJ Stroud when I really could have waited for that eighth or ninth round to take a quarterback. And obviously I have Justin Herbert, but I could have had another dynamic playmaker as maybe a better flex player.
Yeah, there's so many quarterbacks. I think it might be the move to fade quarterback early and just kind of let them fall to you because there's so many options. But yeah, you definitely went for the upside. I like how you have a mix of youth and the high floor running backs. Puka's got a really high floor and he's very young. So yeah, very nice team. Definitely would be a solid one. Do you have a backup tight end in there? No, no. I was just
No, I did not draft a backup tight end. I would probably be looking at like Jatavian Sanders from Carolina. I know it seems like we're Panthers fans on this podcast, everyone. We're not. Just a lot of exciting pieces in Carolina this year.
Yeah, absolutely electric what they're doing over there in Carolina with the Canals. But let's move over to my team. I'll read that off. I went Joe Burrow in round 6. I went Travis Etienne as my first running back in round 3. Went Ramondre as my second running back in round 7. My first pick at pick 4 overall was Jamar Chase. Got that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase Bengals stack. My second round pick was Chris Olave to get my top 2 receivers. I went bold in round 4 and got Dalton Kincaid. Calling my shot on him to be the tight end one. My 2 flexes picked in round 5 and round 8 are George Pickens and Keon Coleman, 2 complete upside shots at wide receiver. Hopefully one of them can, become a huge hit for me. On my bench, I've got Jonathan Brooks in round 9, just an upside shot as my third running back. Another upside shot in round 10 of Blake Corum. One of them hopefully can become that starter by the end of the season and, be startable in fantasy by fantasy playoffs. And then I finished the draft off with 2 veteran receivers in round 11 and 12, Tyler Lockett and Jerry Jeudy, just, for some flexibility in the flex because I have so much youth on my roster. Wanted to even that out a little bit. I felt good about this draft. I personally like it a lot. I'm trying to think if there's anything I would change. Don't love my Chris Olave pick. I didn't really love the players that were there. There were a few instances where I just didn't love the players on my board, so I had to reach for my guy a little bit. Maybe I'm not the biggest fan of pick 4. I feel like around pick 7 and 8, where you picked, is a little bit easier because you can let someone like Bijan or Puka follow you, and then you can pick from there. So yeah, I guess for pick 4, I don't mind my draft. But what would you grade at first?
I'm gonna be nice because I really like your team a lot. I really love the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase stack. That is just destined for some really, really big boom weeks that are gonna win you games. I like your running back duo and Travis Etienne and Ramondre Stevenson. I think the clear cut running back ones on each of their teams, both just flexible, can do kind of everything well. And then I like you calling your shot on Dalton Kincaid, who really just does have super high upside. And then when you look from your flex down, you got a lot of upside with rookie players. And so Dan, I'm gonna give you an A plus, or sorry, an A minus, not an A plus, an A minus.
That was almost very generous. I was about to get hyped, but no, I'll take that A minus. I was actually going to give myself an A minus as well. I agree. If I drafted this team, I'd be pretty happy coming away with this. So yeah, really fun exercise, really fun mock draft. It's so happy we're in mock draft season. We'll definitely get a lot of these out to you. We'll switch them up and do some creative mock drafts. But yeah, really fun stories.
And just one last thing, Dan, that just feels like a Dan team. When I look at it, man, it's just a bunch of dogs that are ready to show up to work there. And I there's kind of a trend for how Dan drafts, and that felt like a Dan team right there. So I love it.
Yeah, you'll see throughout all our mock drafts, I am very specific to my players. It is a Dan team, and I drafted all of my players, and I'm probably going to draft these same players for all of our mock drafts. But yeah, really fun mock draft. Stay tuned to the NFL Seekers podcast for fantasy content this offseason for all NFL content, draft content. We're here for it all, football content. So yeah, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.
Peace.